2018. It's a controversy that has been brought on by violence in schools. Teachers armed with guns.
Now, Pennsylvania lawmakers debating a bill that could make it a reality in your child's school. Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Marcy Cipriani with a closer look at the debate.
According to the FBI, there have been 250 active shooting incidents in the U.S. between 2000 and 2017, with more than 2,200 innocent victims. According to the FBI, 14.8% of those incidents happened in schools K through 12. That number, most would agree, is too high. But what do you do about it? That has become a political battle. You are watching a course designed to train teachers on how to protect their students.
We're there when it starts, and we have the ability to be there to stop it.
The concept is controversial.
Having armed teachers doesn't make students feel secure.
Even among educators. While most agree that the number of deadly school shootings in recent years proves something needs to change, the debate begins at what?
If you have more police officers or school resource officers in a building, which is what the legislation plans to do, is offer funding for that, then you don't need to arm teachers.
Matt Edgell is the spokesperson for the Pennsylvania State Education Association. The PSEA represents 181,000 teachers in this state, and Edgell says their union believes that arming teachers is dangerous.
I can't imagine being a teacher in a building and having somebody harming kids and not being able to do anything about it.
But high school math teacher Mark Zelinskis sees it differently. Zelinskis has gone through the training that teaches teachers how to engage a school shooter and treat victims, something Pennsylvania teachers could soon be doing if Senator John White gets his way.
And if teachers want to put his life on the line to protect himself and his kids, why should we stop that?
Senator White has introduced a bill that would allow each school district to decide for themselves whether they want to arm educators. If they choose to, the teachers would volunteer, be required to pass active shooter training, and learn how to treat the wounded. And the identity of those armed and the location of the firearm would be kept private.
But I'm a representative of a very rural area in Pennsylvania, and I have schools in the northern part of the county specifically that for the state police, which the barracks is south of Indiana, to get to those schools would take anywhere from 35 to 45 minutes.
Senator White also represents parts of Murraysville, where in 2014 a student was charged with stabbing 20 classmates and a security guard. White believes that if teachers were armed, fewer kids would have been attacked.
Imagine if he had an automatic weapon, what he could have done. And on my way home from after Governor Corbett and I visited, I thought to myself, my gosh, they had police right there, 2.5 minutes away. They had a resource officer on duty who was stabbed because he was unarmed. And I thought of all these schools I have, that what would they do? If you have some nutcase, some guy, some coward that wants to get his 15 minutes of fame, those are perfect targets. And that has driven me since.
Senator White's bill, which he has tried to get through for years, has now passed in the Senate with 28 votes and currently sits in the GOP-led House. Governor Tom Wolf has said that if this bill makes it to his desk, he will veto it. In a statement, the governor's spokesperson tells me, quote, Governor Wolf worked with Republicans in legislature to increase school safety funding by $60 million, which will help schools have resources to protect students, including hiring trained security. The governor's opponent, though, voted for Senator White's bill. Scott Wagner's representative tells me his plan also includes armed guards at every school, single entrance points, body scanners, and a mandatory death sentence for all school shooters.
The worst case scenario is doing nothing. You know, we've seen that in Virginia Tech, we've seen it in Sandy Hook. To sit there and let somebody go through and not oppose them and not offer any type of resistance is going to be the worst case scenario.
Teacher Mark Zelinskis says he would be among the first to volunteer to be armed in his Indiana County classroom.
No guns.
But the city of Pittsburgh superintendent says they would never consider guns in school.
We've added additional security officers to all of our schools, so they have a security officer and presence in our campuses. So
the issue of arming teachers is a passionate one on each side.
The teachers are in schools to educate, to help students.
Look at the number of people, the teachers have been shot who stood like this with their kids behind them. Shot dead with no alternative to help themselves or save their kids.
An issue that remains in limbo here in Pennsylvania. Although Senator White's bill passed with 28 votes and sits in the House, that is not enough to override a veto. So whether this bill becomes law could be determined by the governor's race. I'm Brianne, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.